In the last episode of Journeyman, we took the lead through Girolamo, but ended up on the wrong end of the result and the wrong end of this rocket from the Kettering Town midfielder. This left us in 15th place with only 9 points from 7 games. And with Clark and Kirby still out suspended and Max Conway out on a long-term injury, the question is, could we turn this form around in the next game? Before the next game though, there was a small matter of the FA Cup qualifying round draw where we were drawn a tricky tie away at Merthyr. We faced Kings Lynn in our next league game, where we were given a penalty which Girolamo dispatched. We went into half time winning 1-0 and having all the game. Haven't we heard this before? Kings Lynn came out second half and it was a familiar story as we threw away a lead. Not for the first time this season. Kings Lynn went through, broke, past the defence and slotted it past the keeper. And we just could not stop shooting ourselves in the foot after a defensive mistake led to a third goal for Kings Lynn. We did have 2 goals disallowed for offside, but it was the same old story as we took the lead and then threw it away to lose yet again. We had the returning Connor Kirby for our next trip to Buxton, but would he be enough to just turn it round on his own? I made plenty of changes for the trip to Buxton United, but it was the same old story as Goodson took the lead for the home side. We equalised through Bowden and Girolamo made it 2-1. We were actually winning a game. But not for long, as Buxton equalised through Goodson. It was that man Girolamo who went through and made it 3-2 to clinch the win. And after that league win against Buxton, we could start dreaming of an FA Cup run as we kicked it off away at Merthyr. And so it was FA Cup day away at Merthyr, where we conceded a shock goal early on. Girolamo quickly equalised before finding his second goal of the evening with 30 minutes played. We went into half time 2-1 to the good, but we know that we can't take a lead for granted as we've thrown so many away this season. On 70 minutes, Avero rounded the keeper with a lovely finish to make it 3-1 to Buxton. Next round, here we come. The referee gave Warren Clark his second yellow and sent him off on 84 minutes. But we did not concede as we go through to the next qualifying round of the FA Cup with a convincing 3-1 win at Merthyr. And we were drawn against Braintree Town in the Emirates FA Cup third qualifying round. We faced informed Chester, who was second in the league, and welcomed back Connor Brown after his long-term injury. Chester struck with 4 minutes on the clock. Thompson with a nice bit of play on the area, poor defending from us, and Brown with the finish. And our keeper had an absolute brain fart and let Chester score their second goal. I don't know what he was doing there. Chester went into the break 2-0 to the good, and it was going to be a long way back from there against the second in the table team. We couldn't find a way back into the game and Chester ran out deserved winners 2-0, and lessons must be learned from this performance. We changed the system for the visit of Kidderminster Harriers, with Avero playing an attacking midfield role and Girolamo playing up front on his own after Bowden took a knock at training in the week. I have told the players that they must perform better than the last match, and the players clearly didn't listen to what I said before the game as we go into half time 1-0 down. Kidderminster made it 2 on 62 minutes. There was no way back for us second half and we lost the game 2-0. Another disappointing defeat. The defeat leaves us 19th in the table with 12 points and 6 points from the playoffs. So the board have called a meeting and they've given me a month to turn things round. If not, I'm facing the sack. With the board's words ringing in my ear, I brought in Ethan Wassall on a free transfer to play centre defence to steady the back line. We next had to turn our attention back to the FA Cup with a trip to Braintree. Ethan Wassall went straight into the back line to face Braintree. We were level at half time, 0-0, and it was smiles all round as we went through to the next round with Girolamo hitting the winner. We were just one game away from the FA Cup first round proper, but it was our league form that had been letting us down. We faced Spennymoor away in the next game. Before the game at Spennymoor, we had the FA Cup 4th qualifying round draw, where we were drawn at home to Oxford City of the Vanarama National League South. We were hoping to get our league form back on track at Spennymoor. However, poor defending led to a Spennymoor opener with Taylor heading. Against the run of play, we went into half-time 1-0 down. A breakaway goal from Spennymoor saw Allen make it 2-0. Was my job safe? We lost the game 2-0, and to add further heartache, Joe Ackroyd was taken off injured in the 81st minute. I was on the verge of the sack ahead of the Oxford City match, where anything but a win would seal my fate. We didn't get off to the greatest start as Oxford took the lead. Further misery was piled on as they got their second goal of the day. I gave the lads a telling off at half time and it seemed to work as we pulled one back through Bowden, and the comeback was complete with a cracking strike from Kirby. We now faced a tricky replay away at Oxford. The FA Cup first round draw proper was made and we would face Wealdstone or Weston-super-Mare if we could get past Oxford City in the replay. It was FA Cup replay day where we were without the suspended Connor Kirby. Nothing but a win would be good enough for me to keep my job. Oxford City took the lead on 16 minutes. We went into the break 1-0 down. Could we pull it back again and keep ourselves in this tie? Oxford scored again in the 54th minute from a corner and grabbed another on the 56th minute. Should I start packing my bags now? We got a consolation through Bouquet, but it was too little too late. Would I face the axe? I have somehow not been sacked yet, but with us sitting 20th in the league and facing 19th place Brackley Town in the next game, surely nothing but a win would be good enough for me. Find out in the next episode of Journeyman if I got the win I needed. If you have enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button for me. Thank you and goodbye.